Indiana Fever made the obvious and common sense move in adding Odyssey Sims on a hardship contract. Sims, the best available point guard on the market, on the open market, somebody who has experience throughout the league, will be prepared for any situation, has produced throughout her career. And the Fever have done pretty well picking up, players that were just on the Los Angeles Sparks. See the emergency hardship contract they had Ari McDonald on. Now, Sims needs to come in and fill in for Caitlin Clark until Caitlin Clark.
The basketball world just exploded. While everyone was busy writing off the Indiana Fever season, General Manager Lynn Dunn quietly made a move that has critics scrambling to delete their hot takes and haters frantically moving goalposts. Odyssey Sims, the most experienced point guard sitting on the free agent market, just signed with Indiana on a hardship contract. And let me tell you something, this isn't just another roster move. This is the chess piece that could completely flip the narrative around Caitlin Clark and transform the Fever from playoff hopefuls into legitimate contenders. You want to know what's really got people shook? It's not just that they signed Sims. It's that they did it at the perfect moment with surgical precision while everyone else was busy counting them out. The same critics who spent months screaming that Clark needed help are now suddenly quiet when that help actually arrives. Funny how that works, isn't it? Let's be brutally honest here. The Indiana Fever just made the most obvious move in
Once Clark is back, Natasha Howard put out a post today praising the Fever for their fight, and at the end said, "See you soon, CC." So you have to imagine Clark's return isn't too far away. And under the hardship rules, if the Fever don't bring in another player, they could keep Sims on the roster even after Clark is back. So this is a move that addresses the depth and hopefully helps keep the Fever afloat until the superstar is back at the helm. And, you look at it and you see the
WNBA history, and somehow it still feels revolutionary. When your superstar point guard goes down with an injury, what do? If you're smart, you don't throw some rookie into the fire and pray they don't get torched by veteran defenses. You don't experiment with players who've never seen a double team at this level. You go get the best available talent, someone who's been through every conceivable situation this league can throw at you. That's exactly what happened here. Odyssey Sims wasn't just sitting there available by accident. This woman has 11 years of WNBA experience under her belt. 11 years. She suited up for the Tulsa Shock, Dallas Wings, LA Sparks, Minnesota Lynx, Atlanta Dream, and Connecticut Sunday. You don't last over a decade in this league by being average. You survive because you can adapt, because you can produce, and because you understand what it takes to win at the highest level. But here's where it gets interesting. Natasha Howard dropped a social media post that had Fever fans reading between every single line. She praised the team's fighting spirit, talked about their resilience, and then dropped this little nugget at the end. See you soon, CC. That's not some random shout out. That's insider information wrapped in a casual Instagram post. Clark's return is closer than anyone realizes, and the timing of this Sims signing isn't coincidental. The beauty of this hardship contract situation is something most casual fans don't understand, but it's absolutely crucial. Under current WNBA rules, if the Fever only sign one hardship player, which they just did with Sims, they can keep her on the roster even after Clark comes back. They don't have to cut anybody. They don't have to make difficult decisions. Sims can literally stay for the entire rest.
Quirks. Chloe Peterson of the Indy Star had that, and I want to make sure she gets credit for that. But the Fever technically have room for up to 2 hardship players. If Sims is the only one they sign, they don't need to release her once CC returns. If the Fever decide to sign another hardship player, they would need to release either Sims or the second hardship player once CC returns. So that means, Sims can be a part of this Fever team the remainder of the season, I believe, if I'm reading that.
Season and into the playoffs if she performs well. That's not a temporary band-aid. That's adding a proven veteran to your rotation permanently. Now let me paint you a picture of what the Fever have been dealing with while Clark's been sidelined. Their guard rotation has been, let's call it creative. And by creative, I mean they've been passing ball-handling duties around like a hot potato.
Needs to come in and fill in for Caitlin Clark until Caitlin Clark returns. And then they could use depth behind Caitlin Clark once Clark is back. Natasha Howard put out a post today praising the Fever for their fight, and at the end said, "See you soon, CC." So you have to imagine Clark's return isn't too far away. And under the hardship rules, if the Fever don't bring in another player, they could keep Sims on the roster even after Clark is back. So this is a move that addresses the depth and hopefully helps keep the Fever afloat until the superstar is back at the helm. And, you know, you look at it and you see those little quirks. Chloe Peterson of the Indy Star had that, and I want to make sure.
Nobody wants to hold for too long. Sophie Cunningham brings incredible energy and defensive intensity, but she's not a point guard. Kelsey Mitchell can absolutely light up the scoreboard, but running an offense as the primary facilitator, that's not her natural game. What they've been missing is someone who can walk onto the court and immediately know what to do in every situation. Someone who can push the pace when they need a quick bucket, slow things down when the opponent goes on a run, and most importantly, someone who can execute in those crucial late-game moments when every possession matters. That someone just walked through their door wearing number whatever Sims chooses. Let's talk about what Odyssey Sims actually brings to the table, because her resume is legitimately impressive. We're looking at career averages of 11.2 points, 3 assists, and 2.5 rebounds per game. She made the All-Star team in 2019 and earned all WNBA second team honors. This season, before getting released by the Sparks, she was putting up 9.8 points and 3 assists while starting 11 games. Those aren't the numbers of someone clinging to their career. Those are the numbers of someone who still has serious game left. But statistics only tell part of the story. What really matters is how Sims has already positioned herself in relation to Caitlin Clark, and this is where things get really interesting for team chemistry. Sims has gone on record multiple times praising Clark's game. She's talked about how Clark looks for her teammates instead of forcing shots, how she's been dominating since day one, and how much respect she has for her basketball IQ. You know what that tells me? There's not going to be any weird power struggle when Clark returns. Sims knows exactly what the hierarchy is, and she's completely comfortable with her role. This is crucial because ego battles in August can absolutely destroy a playoff run before it even starts. But when you have a veteran like Sims who genuinely respects the superstar's game and understands her role as the supporting cast, that's when magic can happen. Clark won't have to worry about someone undermining her leadership or demanding shots. She can focus on what she does best while knowing she has someone capable backing her up. Speaking of what Sims does best, let's address the elephant in the room that critics love to point out. Her three-point shooting percentage sits below 30% for her career. Here's the thing though, the Fever didn't sign her to be Steph Curry. They signed her to be a floor general who can attack the basket, create for others, and provide that veteran presence when things get chaotic. And when she gets hot, watch out. Earlier this season, she dropped 32 points on the Phoenix Mercury, shooting 10 of 14 from the field. That wasn't a fluke. That's what happens when an elite scorer gets in rhythm. The spacing argument that critics love to make completely misses how modern WNBA offense actually works. You don't need 5 three-point shooters on the court to create good spacing. If you can drive to the basket, collapse the defense, and make the right read on the kickout, you're creating the same opportunities. Sims has been doing exactly that for over a decade. She knows how to get downhill, draw help defense, and find the open teammate. That's valuable regardless of her shooting percentage. But let's zoom out and talk about what this signing really represents for the Indiana Fever organization. For months, critics have been hammering them for being reactive instead of proactive, for making moves too late, for not properly supporting their superstar. Then they go out and make this signing, and suddenly those same critics are looking for new angles to attack. The front office saw a need, identified the best available solution, and executed quickly. That's exactly what championship organizations do. The psychological impact of this move on the current roster cannot be overstated. When players see their front office actively trying to improve the team, when they see management making moves to help them succeed instead of just accepting mediocrity, it changes the entire energy in the locker room. Natasha Howard's post wasn't just about Clark coming back. It was about a team that feels supported by their organization, a team that believes they're still fighting for something meaningful this season. And they absolutely should be fighting, because the playoff picture is nowhere near as bleak as some people want to believe. The Fever are right there in the mix, bunched up with several other teams fighting for positioning. They're not some bottom feeder hoping for next year. They're a team that could make real noise if they get healthy and add the right pieces. Sims is that piece. The schedule is setting up perfectly for this integration too. They've got a game against Dallas coming up, then a break that gives them time to work Sims into the system. Later this month, there's another extended break between August 17th and 22nd. If you were designing a comeback timeline for Clark with a new supporting piece, this is exactly how you'd draw it up. Get Sims comfortable with the offense, let her build chemistry with the other players, and have everything clicking by the time Clark steps back on the court. When Clark does return, the tactical flexibility this creates is enormous. For the first time this season, Clark won't have to be the primary ball handler on every single possession. She can move off the ball, run off screens, set up for catch-and-shoot opportunities, and create mismatches in ways we haven't seen yet. That's going to keep her fresher throughout games, and more importantly, throughout the playoff push. The defensive side gets overlooked, but Sims brings value there too. She's physical, she's quick, and she's not afraid to get in someone's face when the moment calls for it. She can guard both backcourt positions, which gives the coaching staff flexibility with their rotations. You can run her with Mitchell, with Clark, or even experiment with 3 guard lineups in specific matchups. That versatility is exactly what you need heading into the most important stretch of the season. Now here comes the part that's really going to irritate the critics. This move fundamentally destroys the narrative that Clark can't succeed without being surrounded by all-stars. Every great player in basketball history has needed help. Michael Jordan needed Scottie Pippen. LeBron needed Dwayne Wade and Kyrie Irving. Aya Wilson has a loaded roster around her in Las Vegas. Acting like Clark should somehow be different is ridiculous. Adding depth isn't an admission of weakness. It's smart team building. The beauty of how this is structured is that Sims isn't coming in to reinvent anything. She's not going to overhaul the playbook or demand a complete system change. Her job is simple: stabilize the guard position, take some pressure off the starters, and keep the team competitive until Clark is back at full strength. Once Clark returns, Sims slides seamlessly into a secondary role where she can still provide quality minutes without any drama or chemistry issues. Critics who want to frame this as just a temporary fill-in are missing the bigger picture entirely. If Sims plays well, and there's every reason to believe she will, why would you let her go? This is the WNBA, not the NBA with 15-man rosters. Depth is precious, and good depth is even more valuable. One injury can completely change your season, and keeping Sims means you don't have to scramble the next time someone goes down. The hardship contract rules actually work in the Fever's favor here in ways most people don't realize. As long as they don't sign a second hardship player, Sims can stay on the roster indefinitely. That means she could potentially be with this team through the playoffs and beyond. That's not a Band-Aid signing. That's adding a legitimate rotation piece who could play a key role in a championship run. What's really got the haters spiraling is that this move makes too much sense to criticize effectively. They can't attack the basketball fit because Sims is obviously qualified. They can't attack the timing because Clark's return is imminent and the schedule works perfectly. They can't attack the character fit because Sims has already shown nothing but respect for Clark and understands her role. So what are they left with? Weak arguments about three-point shooting and desperate attempts to move the goalposts. The truth is, this signing represents everything the Fever have been building toward. They've got their superstar in Clark, they've got solid supporting pieces, and now they've added the veteran leadership and depth that championship teams require. When Clark steps back onto that court with Sims running the second unit, with the confidence that comes from knowing the organization has your back, that's when this team becomes truly dangerous. Odyssey Sims just gave the Indiana Fever something they haven't had all season: insurance. Insurance against injury, insurance against bad shooting nights, insurance against the unpredictable chaos that defines playoff basketball. Most importantly, she gave them proof that this organization is serious about winning now, not just developing for the future. The haters can panic all they want. The rest of us are about to watch something special unfold in Indiana.